It is never too late to start living your life by design. Welcome back to another episode of the Life by Design show, where we don't just settle for what life throws us, right? We take the steps to create the life that fulfills us to our core. We do this intentionally. And this is episode number 12 already. And today we're reclaiming our time. There are 24 hours in a day. And we all want to spend each of those hours doing the things that matter to us most, right? But for those of you who may be catching the show for the very first time, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Charmaine Michelle of CM Design Agency, and I help designers who've been doing their part to learn about the fashion industry, designers like you who are now ready to claim your piece of the market share. I help you to unpeel the layers so you can identify your brand's value proposition, so you can confidently show up as the head of your business and build connections with your core customer base as you position your next collection for a robust launch, all while designing a life you truly love, because your brand is not the end all, right? You're a whole person, and all of that needs to be considered. But back to today's topic. Today, we're talking about taking back your time and getting more out of your 24-hour day. Now, we all know that feeling where there's so much to do, and it seems like there's just not enough time to do it, right? Yet, some people seem to get so much done on a regular basis. And even though you've had times like that, I know you have, right? You've had times like that where you seem to be thriving and getting it done, and you're tapping into your flow, right? But then at other times it feels like you're struggling and going too slowly and having a hard time accomplishing anything. Well, we're gonna fix that. The truth is we get the same 24 hours every single day. I'm going to show you how you can map out your day to day and make your personal life as well as your designer journey make sense, so you can feel like you're making good moves every single day. I'm excited to dive into this episode, but before we go all the way in, I want to be sure you've heard about the label launch blueprint. Staying stuck in DIY mode has caused too many talented designers to burn out. So, after decades of experience in the fashion industry, I've taken all of my brand, design, sample development, marketing, and production expertise and put together an easy to follow step by step roadmap so you can take the guesswork out of your launch strategy. No more going around in circles, wondering what to do when and how to do it, and not having support along the way. I want you to give yourself the gift of clarity. Head over to cmdesignagency.com/label launch blueprint for more info, and I cannot wait to connect with you. Now let's get back to it. Now, as you're growing your fashion business, there are going to be quite a few areas that need attention, no matter what stage of the journey you're in. You may be in the brand strategy stage where you're developing your brand persona and honing in on who your core customer is so you can position your brand at the proper market level. Or you may be in the design development stage where you're sourcing fabrics and gathering your inspirations for the season and designing your silhouettes and getting your photo samples prepared and fit and finalized. Or perhaps you're in the lean launch stage where you're in the throes of marketing your collection and taking in your pre-sale orders and preparing to fulfill those orders to your customers. Regardless of what step you're working on right now, the reality is that your business, no matter how much you love it, no matter how much we love our businesses, it's not who we are, right? Your business is an expression of your creativity, of your passion, of your desire to impact your customers in a positive way, impact the industry in a meaningful way so you can make money while doing the thing that makes your heart smile. But in order to operate your business well, you need to fit the time into your day every day to do the things that will move your business forward step by step. And some of you may be thinking, oh my goodness, I've tried to find the time, but by the time I finish my full-time job or my part-time job and do the things I need to do at home or spend time on the people, or spend time with the people I care about in my life and fit in enough sleep so I can function, so I could look like a person when I get up and get going the next day, right? If you've ever thought that, what you're not alone, first of all. I want you to do a quick exercise with me now so you can get some clarity and begin to take your time back. All right, so go ahead and grab a sheet of paper or grab a post-it note, all right, or open the notes app on your phone. I'm going to give you a second. You're going to map out your day in 5 separate categories. Okay, so if you have that piece of paper, you got your notes ready, we're going to start to list those 5 categories. The first is sleep. The second is self-care. Third, loved ones. Fourth, your brand. And category number 5 is day job. So how many hours do you spend on sleep? Do you sleep 7 hours? Do you sleep 8 hours a night? Do you sleep longer? I doubt it if you're a business owner. Do you sleep 6.5 hours a night? How many hours do you sleep? And then the self-care. How many hours do you spend, including your exercise time, your journaling time, your reading time or prayer time, your meditation time, or any time you spend with a hobby? How many hours do you spend on self-care? And how many hours do you spend with your loved ones, meaning your family, or if you're a caretaker, or you're taking care of your household on your own, or even if you have help, how many hours are you spending with that and socializing each day? You know, loved ones can include colleagues and associates and friends, of course. So how many hours are you taking on that each day? And next we have your brand. Your brand category includes time you spend learning about how to grow your business, to find the time rather that you spend actually taking action and growing your business and managing that business, and even time you take networking so that you can, of course, expand your purview and make more connections that'll help elevate your brand. And then lastly, but not least, because hello, this is essential as well. Lastly is your day job, right? Or whether it be a part-time job or a full-time job. That includes getting ready to go to the job or getting ready to sit at your computer if you work at home, right? If you work remotely, or the time you spend commuting to the job, and however many hours you actually spend at that job, right, or in front of that computer, so they could see that you're actually working. They watch everything when you work remotely, right? Right. All right. So how many hours are you actually doing that? All right. And I want to go back to self-care for a hot minute. Having a hobby. I know hobby may seem kind of odd to put in that category, but having a hobby or an interest outside of business is so important. It's so important. That is part of nurturing your soul and feeding the things that make you feel like yourself. One of the sharks on Shark Tank, Robert Hershevik, once said, "I don't trust anyone who doesn't have an interest outside of business." And I tend to agree. Can't just be all about business, right? Can't just be all about play either. There needs to be some sort of give and take, right? So mix it up a bit so you can remain passionate and optimistic about this thing that you're building. So you should have a number next to each of these 5 categories, right? I'm going to give you some examples of breakdowns that I have had come through when I did this with other designers. Okay, one designer got 8 hours of sleep, 2 hours of self-care, 5 hours she spent with loved ones, 4 hours a day she spent working on her brand, and 5 hours a day she spent on her part-time job. And I have another one. Okay, here it is. For this designer, she spent 7 hours on sleep every day, give or take. I know every day is not exactly the same, but 7 hours was her goal. 1 hour on self-care, 4 hours with loved ones, 2 hours a day on her brand, and 10 hours a day because she had a full-time job, and that included her getting ready and getting to the job and getting back home. Okay? Now, each of those breakdowns I just gave you both added up to 24 hours. Not every day is going to be perfect. All right? Yesterday, for example, despite my intentions for my workday yesterday, I had major distractions that just jacked up my whole flow and took me off my game. And one was actually 100% necessary because it involved family and I needed to pause a bit and take care of that situation. But the other one was something that I could have put off until literally next week. But I, thinking I was being efficient and attentive in the moment, I addressed it and it ended up taking way longer. That fire took way too long to put out. Took way longer than I wanted to spend on something like that because it wasn't absolutely necessary. It wasn't important in that moment. Okay, so distractions are gonna happen, but just know if they come up, they're a time suck. We all have to be careful about what we allow to pull out our attention away from the things that are meaningful for each day, right? So let's do a breakdown. If you decide to intentionally spend 4 hours a day, let me get my calculator here. 4 hours a day, like designer number one. Let me do that calculation for you in real time. If you decided you wanted to spend 4 hours a day, that is 28 hours a week naturally, right? Now multiply that by 4, that's 112 hours a month. Times 12 is 1,344 hours a year. Holy smokes, right? What could you do with 1,344 hours a year on working on your business? What could you accomplish in that time? Whew, whew. That's yummy. All right, so let's look at the next designer. She did 2 hours. I think I did this breakdown already. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, so she did 2 hours a day, worked 2 hours a day on her business rather, and that was 14 hours a week, 56 hours a month, and 672 hours a year. Still 672 hours a year. Imagine if you were consistent, if you even had more time than 2 or 4 hours a day. Maybe you're doing this thing full time, right? Maybe you have 5 hours to work on your brand or 6 hours to work on your brand. But just know that even if you have just 1 hour a day to work on your brand, should we do that? Let me see what it looks like. Okay, let's do the 1 hour a day, which I know most of y'all have more, but let's do the 1 hour a day. So of course, that's 7 a week, 28 a month, times 12 is 336 hours a year. Still, even if you only have 1 hour, one measly hour to work on your business. And like I said, I know you're dedicated, so I know you're giving it more than that. But that's just to show you how powerful time is. Compounded, it adds up to way more time and it's way more effective and substantial than it looks like. And really, some of y'all I know are doing the work, doing the thing, but others have to really get honest with yourselves and stop playing with this thing and get more serious about how you spend your time. Time is at the mercy of our choices, and our choices create our outcomes. It's the one thing that we can never get back. So, how are you spending it now? And start thinking about how you want to start spending it every day. How many hours do you want to spend on self-care? How many hours do you want to spend on your business each and every day? And on sleep and with your loved ones and on that job. The job is important as well because hello, the job is funding this business that you say you want to grow, right? Don't poo-poo the 9 to 5. The job is essential it gives you the stability that you need so that you can continue following your passion. All right. So all of it matters. And every day is a new day. It's a new opportunity to start fresh. So let's map out, starting today. Hello, let's map out how we want to spend our time so we can get back on track if you're off track. All right, I'm going to get back on track. I'm already back on track. Hello, I'm filming this episode. I'm back from that distraction that took me off my game yesterday. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up with a productivity tip so you set the tone for each new day going forward. All right, it's something simple, but it works. Before you go to bed, I want you to think of one thing, one thing that you need to accomplish that's going to move your business forward the next day. Then I want you to picture yourself getting that thing done. All right, just see yourself checking that off the list and being glad you did, feeling content and patting yourself on the back because you did that thing, right? If you do this, you're probably going to dream about accomplishing it, right, overnight. And when you wake up, I want you to take a few moments to reflect on that main intention you set for the day. All right, and see how it goes. And if you try this, I want to hear from you. Let me know how it works out for you. Are you going to try it? I hope you are, because it absolutely works. And we get out of things what we put in, and setting your intentions and focusing on the things that you actually want is way more powerful than so many people realize. So until next time, keep thriving, keep making the most of your time, and keep living life by design. Ciao. You have a big, juicy vision for your business, and not everybody around you gets it or even cares, right? But that's okay, because that vision was given to you, not to them. I know at times in the past it has felt like you were on an island by yourself, and you're not alone, but it doesn't have to stay that way. I have opened the doors to our emerging designer community. Go to cmdesignagency.mn.co so you can connect and vibe with like-minded individuals who are also on a mission to grow and scale their fashion brand. I'll see you on the inside. Thank you for tuning in today. Be sure to check out the show notes and connect via the links provided. I'll see you next time.